So for years, we as creators have been battling with subscriptions, and if you're working in the creative field, you're bound to have at least one subscription. But here's the thing, that's really annoying and it's actually bad. I don't really like it. There's one company who still does not have subscriptions. In fact, they give you the full thing, like for lifetime license when you buy their products, and we're going to talk about them all. We're going to talk about the new Apple's Creative Studio. We're going to talk about Adobe Creative Cloud, and then finally we have DaVinci Resolve. But here's the thing, why is everybody wanting to go subscription based? Nobody's talking about it, but there is actually a pretty crazy reason. You know, in this world where we're building back better and not owning anything, we're going down a very interesting trajectory. But in this video, I want to compare all of these three, because if you're a creative professional, maybe working on it or thinking about starting to, okay, which program I'm going to use, then this will be very helpful to know what you're going to get with it, what is actually worth it and what's not actually worth it. And then there's lots of discounts and subscriptions and what you get with the free and non-subscription based. Should I actually upgrade or should I pay it outright? Because sometimes you can do that. So let's have a big chat about that. Deepcool AK700 compact cooling with a smart display. It features 7 advanced copper heat pipes and a next-gen optimized tower delivering unmatched thermal control. I tested it on the Core Ultra 7 265K and it managed to keep it cool down while the CPU pulled over 220 watts of power. The digital screen is a nice touch to easily monitor your computer performance. On the white model, the display through a board effect is a very interesting touch. Perhaps a nice combo with the Gigabyte X870E Aero motherboard. Designed with an offset heat pipes to accommodate the larger heatsink depth for better component compatibility. This allows more space for tall RAM modules. So let's start with the newest guy around the block, which is the Apple Creative Studio. And this is Apple just taking a big bazooka towards Adobe's headquarters and saying, I'll have some of that revenue, thank you very much. Because what they've done previously is they've built their Mac so good that PCs usually are not as good on Adobe Creative Cloud memberships or whatever software you're using as the Macs. But now the thing is, Apple's just created their own version of this. So from January 28th, 26th, Apple is launching a new all-in-one creative subscription, which now includes Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Pixelmater Pro, Motion Compressor, Mainstage, and premium AI content features for Keynote, Pages, Numbers, and Freeform, which is coming later on in the year. And reading that list, you're going to be like, wait a second, wasn't some of it for free anyway? Well, yeah, but you know, Apple just still wants you to get the subscription. So let's go through them one by one. So firstly, Final Cut Pro, you can get it for one-time purchase on Apple Store. But now with the subscription, it is obviously smaller one-time or starting cost. But then with the subscription, you get it for the Mac and iPad. Previously, you're going to have to, or now you're going to have to buy them separately if you want to do that. Then we've got Logic Pro, music editing, again, Mac and iPad you get with that. Pixelmater, you get Mac, but now for the first time for iPad as well, and Apple Pen support, which will be a huge thing for people looking to replace the likes of Illustrator or Photoshop or even Lightroom Classic on Adobe. Then we've got Motion, and Motion is the one that's basically an After Effects equivalent. Then Compressor, which is kind of like a media encoding equivalent for Adobe applications. Mainstage, which is a very interesting one now that that's included as well. I hope that Mainstage is still going to keep being the one-time purchase, because I think that makes most sense if you just purchase it once, because if you have, you know, your instruments there, you just purchase it once and voila. Okay, maybe if Apple, you know, releases new instruments, but that's a little bit confusing one still to me. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you're using Mainstage, I'd like to know what you think in the comment section below. And then we've got the Keynote, Pages, and Numbers, which is basically the Microsoft Office of Apple's equivalent that usually you get for free with your Mac. And now you get the subscription versions of them, which basically means you get some AI features. So then, what are the AI features that Apple has out there? On Final Cut Pro, The AI tools are transcript-based editing, search your footage by spoken words, visual search, find clips by object, actions, or scenes, beat detection, automatically map music beats to the timeline, montage maker on iPad, auto assembles edits using AI. These features are exclusive to Creator Studio subscribers. So if you're thinking about using any of those, you're going to have to subscribe and pay for this. And the pricing, we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, some of the AI tools actually require Apple Silicon, M1 or Creative, but I think most Apple users will be on them, especially using the subscription-based services. So I don't think that is a big issue there. Now, I think we need to talk about the Pixelmater Pro on iPad, which is a big deal for a lot of people. And the subtle but important change is that Pixelmater Pro is now on iPad with full Apple Pencil support. I think everybody was waiting for that because Apple does not have any touchscreen options on any of their Mac devices. So now, finally, on an iPad, it does make a lot of sense. And this matters for people who are designers, thumbnail creators, or social content workflows, any social media content. You know, if you're doing a thumbnail, that would be a great one for you. Now then, what about the pricing and all of the subscription options? What's going on? Because there's bad news and there's good news with this one. So free without subscribing to the actual Creator Studio, you get Keynote, Pages, and Numbers, and Freeform. So you're thinking, so we still get that for free with the Mac? Yeah. But if you wanted the AI features for the Keynote, Pages, and Numbers, which basically means your AI like slide creation or some templates, some of these things, then you're going to have to pay extra for that. So you don't get premium templates or no AI features or no pro content libraries with any of those. Now, free trial, if you want to sign up for it, is 1 month, full free trial. But if you buy any of the Mac products, you get 3 months for free trial. Now, my question is, if you're already paying for this, will you still get the 3-month free trial if you're buying a new Mac? You're upgrading your phone, for example. Do you still get that if you're already paying for the subscription? That's an interesting question to ask from Apple. How much does it actually cost then? It is $12.99 a month, which is a lot cheaper than Adobe. We'll talk about Adobe's pricing in a minute. Or if you pay yearly or annually, it is $129, which means that you're getting 2 months for free if you choose to pay annually, which is more than 10% discount. If you're a student, it is $2.99 a month or £29 a year, which is basically less than half of what Adobe wants you to pay 1 month. But now the good news about the subscription is that you can share it with up to 5 people. Now you do have to share your Apple ID and the password and all of this. So if you're in a family, then all of your devices could be there. But that is huge difference compared to Adobe, because Adobe only allows you to be signed in 2 devices at once. And me on this channel, when I'm testing multiple devices, Adobe constantly tells me that, hey, you're gonna have to change your password because multiple people are using the device. And I'm like, no, I just need to test like 500 different GPUs or lots of different devices. So that's why I'm jumping all the time. And I'm having to pay 2 licenses at the same time just because one is for testing and one is for use, if that makes sense. One last thing important to mention for the Creator Studio is that if you cancel the subscription, your projects still exist, but you can't reopen or edit them without subscribing, which is kind of a bummer, really. But that's the same with Adobe. So, you know, we're in the same boat. Now, Adobe Creative Cloud, which is probably the most comprehensive Creator Studio set for all the creatives in there, where we have Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, After Effects, InDesign, Acrobat, fonts, libraries, cloud collaboration, and so on. In terms of free trial, Adobe only allows it for 7 days, but there are a lot of other products that if you purchase them, you can get free subscription for like 3 months or 1 month or something like that. So you can earn that. But in terms of pricing for Adobe, I'm sure I don't need to explain what all these different things do for Adobe, because I'm sure maybe you're more familiar with them. The $80 a month is for all apps, which is absolutely crazy pricing, okay? Single app is 10 to 24 a month, depending if you just need, I don't know, video editing or photo editing, for example. Then student discounts are available as well. Or if you're a teacher, you can also get discounts there. But Adobe wins on breadth and industry adoption, but it's also most expensive, and there is no way to own the software anymore. So you can't do one-time purchases on Adobe. That is absolutely gone. The thing here is I've got a little trick for you up its sleeve. I'm going to leave that till the end of the video, how I am always paying less than half the price for Adobe products. So I highly recommend you do the same thing, but I'll share the secret later on once we've gone through all of these three. Then finally, section number 3, which is getting a lot of traction and a lot of love from a lot of people, which is DaVinci Resolve Studio from Blackmagic. So Blackmagic does cameras. This one is one of those cameras, for example, and I got the full subscription when I bought this camera, which is absolutely amazing. So when I bought the camera, you get a lifetime subscription. Imagine you buy a Mac and you get a lifetime subscription for Final Cut Pro, Mainstage, Logic Pro. That would be crazy. DaVinci Resolve is basically for video editing, color grading, and some motion effects as well in there. So kind of like After Effects built in there with Fusion and graphs, what you can do. But it doesn't have photo editing and so on. But a lot of industry professionals, video, movie makers choose to use DaVinci Resolve just because of the creative workflow, the amazing color grading features, for example, and so on, audio mixing, Fusion, and so on. So if you want to use the free version, there is a free version, by the way, available for everybody, and you can use it as long as you want, and it's pretty much amazing for, I don't know, 75% of the people. If you want to get started for video editing, that is an amazing place to get started. You get full video editing, color grading, audio mixing, Fusion, and up to 4K exports and no time limit. Now, your software is not going to be taking full utilization of your hardware, and if you want to get faster performance, you really want to upgrade to the studio version, because then you can get like GPU acceleration and GPU support, and you'll see huge difference in there. So if you see that your DaVinci Resolve is slow on your device, on your PC, Mac, the first thing you should do is not think about upgrading your PC, Mac, but just actually upgrading your software. Just pay for the license, the $299 or something like that. That is the best purchase you can do in terms of upgrading and getting better performance. So for a one-time purchase between $225 to $255, apparently I was wrong here, you get AI tools, HDR grading, GPU acceleration, 8K support, multi-user collaborations, lifetime updates, no subscriptions, no feature removals, no cloud lock-ins. DaVinci is just taking everybody else for a ride. But mark my words, it might not stay that long. Now, in terms of the free trial for DaVinci Resolve, you basically just have free trial for life if you want to. And if you just need a little bit more or faster, you just pay for it one time. And it's one of the best, options you can actually do. This might be basic, but let's talk about the subscription-based versus one-time purchase. Now, I am actually sick of subscriptions. I don't know about you, but everybody wants you to subscribe for something. And here's the thing, you start to forget about the subscriptions, and then you just got these subscriptions going out direct debit from your bank account, and you don't even know what you're paying for, which is how they make their money. Right. But the subscription cons are that it's the endless cost. You lose access if you stop paying, and there's locked workflows, okay? But then the good things are that it's always up to date. You get the latest, best features all the time, new things. You get multiple apps included, and then AI and cloud features support. Now, if your workflow doesn't change and you don't want to try new things, perhaps you want to look into the one-time purchase, which is that you own that thing forever. There's no recurring costs. There's predictable cost. So you know that, okay, I've paid for this one. Next month, you don't have to pay for it. It's all just done. The downside is that there is a higher upfront cost and there are fewer cloud features. But if you don't care about AI, then why pay for subscription right now? Because for one-time purchase, you can still use them. And in fact, if you've already paid for Final Cut or Logic or something like that, you can still keep using it. That's not a problem. The last two things I want to talk about is, number one, why are people going for subscription based? If the market likes to have one-time purchase and actually own the product, why are they going subscription based? Because I don't know a single person who likes the subscription based, okay? It's just horrendous. Unless you get started and you can't really pay for like $300 or something like that, you just pay like one-time fee, like maybe you can find $15, $20 or $50. But at the same time, after 1 year of use, you're better off if you would have paid for it in the first place just outright. But in Adobe's case, that's not a problem. But the reason why everybody's going for subscription-based is because of the company valuation. The company valuation shoots through the roof multiple times if your revenue is subscription-based. If you look at the same things, let's say media or software type of companies, and if you've got a one-time purchase or a subscription-based purchase, then subscription-based can go 1.5 times to 10 times higher cost or higher valuation for the company if it's subscription-based. So if you're Apple, you're thinking, hey, if we just change it to subscription-based, our valuation would go, I know people don't like it, but our valuation goes up. That would be good for, shareholders, wouldn't it? And number two, what I want to talk about is why I think DaVinci Resolve is not going to do this forever. Now, I would have mad respect for DaVinci Resolve if they kept this going and would not change their subscription-based kind of idea. And they said, hey, you just get it for life and just use it. We love it. Support us. Awesome. Just buy new cameras. And that's how we make revenue. Blackmagic's company valuation would go so much higher if they just released that. Sorry, I know you're using DaVinci Resolve, but it's going to be subscription-based now. You're going to have to pay. They would make so much money. So there's roughly between 5 to 6 million DaVinci Resolve users, which means that now suddenly you're generating, let's say even if it's like $5 a month, every single month you're making roughly about $25 million. $25 million of revenue. A year, that is $300 worth of revenue, and the company valuation just goes up by billions. And especially if they start adding other things to it and so on. Money-wise for Blackmagic, I am sure they've had that conversation with the higher up executives already. But I'm hoping they're not going to do it, because that's what sets them apart in the industry right now. They're the only ones who don't have subscription-based service. They're the only ones where you can buy it outright, and that's why people love them. Their software is amazing. That's why people are switching from Premiere Pro and like other Adobe softwares, because you're thinking, wait a second, 3 months of the subscription, what I'm paying right now, I could buy that DaVinci Resolve outright for life and get updates. Yep, that's why people are switching. My honest thought is that I'm skeptical about DaVinci Resolve not making it subscription-based. They're the only ones. It's probably going to go subscription-based. But here's the thing. They're going to have to add some other things into the mix. What are they going to make into the subscription-based? They don't have photo editing. They don't have media encoder. They have to render like inside DaVinci Resolve. They don't have, music features in there. They don't have that many other things. They're going to have to bundle some other things into it. So maybe there are good news. Let me know if you think that DaVinci is going to go subscription-based or not, but that's what I'm thinking. I would love to know what you think in the comment section below, and hopefully this was helpful for you. If you want to check out any other information or any interesting links, I'm going to leave them linked in the description below. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.